Hey everyone, welcome back to Speak Easy English. I'm Liam, and I'm so glad you're joining us today. How's everyone doing?
Hi guys, it's Sarah here. Hope your day's going great. We've got something really exciting to talk about today that can make a huge difference in your English learning journey.
That's right, Sarah. Today, we're going to talk about how to start speaking English at home. It might sound simple, but it's a game changer in your language learning.
Exactly. You don't need to go to a language school or travel to practice. You can make real progress just by incorporating English into your everyday routine at home.
And it doesn't have to be stressful. We'll share some simple tips that will help you speak more confidently and naturally without feeling overwhelmed.
Yes. And don't worry about making mistakes. It's part of the learning process. The key is just to start practicing, even in small ways.
So, if you've been wondering how to speak more English at home, you're in the right place. Let's dive into some practical tips to help you start today. We all know that practice is key when it comes to learning a language, but sometimes it can be tough to speak English regularly at home.
Absolutely, Liam. And this is something a lot of learners struggle with. Maybe there's no one around to speak English with, or you might even feel a little shy about speaking it out loud, especially when you're by yourself.
That's such a common issue. It's easy to think that we need to be in an English-speaking environment to get better at speaking. And if you don't have friends or family members who speak English, it can feel like you're stuck in this situation where you just can't practice the way you want to.
Exactly. And let's not forget, sometimes we feel a bit embarrassed about making mistakes. It can be a little intimidating to speak English, especially if you're worried about saying something wrong. That's a feeling I definitely remember having when I first started.
For sure. I've been there too. And another challenge is that we often get comfortable in our native language, right? When you're at home, it's easy to default to your first language because it's what feels most natural. You might even feel like you don't need to speak English because you're already communicating well enough in your own language. But that's where the problem lies.
Exactly. We get so used to our native language that it becomes our default setting. When you're trying to speak English, it can feel like there's an invisible wall that stops you from switching gears. It feels awkward at first, but you have to remember, that's completely normal.
Right. And let's be real, a lot of us get busy with life at home, whether it's work, school, or just daily routines. It can be hard to carve out the time to practice English, even if you know it's important. And when you're juggling so many things, it can feel like English takes a back seat.
Right, and let's be real. A lot of us get busy with life at home, whether it's work, school, or just daily routines. It can be hard to carve out the time to practice English, even if you know it's important. And when you're juggling so many things, it can feel like English takes a back seat. That's a huge point. Life just keeps going, and we're all caught up in so many other tasks. It's easy to say, I'll practice tomorrow, and then before you know it, days go by without any real speaking practice. But the more time we let slip by, the harder it becomes to stay motivated.
And the environment around you plays a big part too. If you're in a space where English isn't spoken, it's not easy to get used to using the language on a daily basis. So many learners find it difficult to create the right setting for speaking English when they're at home.
That's absolutely true. It's not just about having a language partner, it's about creating that atmosphere where English becomes part of your everyday world. But if you're surrounded by family or friends who don't speak English, it can make things tricky. It's like trying to swim upstream, right?
Exactly. And then there's the issue of not knowing where to start. When we try to practice speaking on our own, it's easy to feel lost. Do we talk to ourselves? Do we have a script? Sometimes, it feels like there's no clear path to follow, and that's what makes starting difficult for a lot of people.
Yes, and it's important to mention that a lot of people overthink it. They think they need to practice with a perfect plan or do it for hours at a time. But the reality is, you can start small. You don't need to speak for hours, and you definitely don't need to do it perfectly. Starting with simple, easy steps is the key.
Right, Sarah. So many of us put pressure on ourselves to be perfect right away. We think we need to sound like native speakers, and that can be paralyzing. But the key is just to take small steps and gradually build confidence. And the more you practice, the easier it gets.
That's the beauty of it. It's not about being perfect. It's about practicing regularly and making small improvements every day. You'll see how much progress you make in no time.
Exactly. And to break through these barriers, you've got to start changing your mindset about speaking English at home. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And the more you practice, the more you'll feel comfortable.
And let's be clear, this is all about creating a routine and making English a part of your daily life, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. That's how you start to break down the barriers and make English a more natural part of your world.
Well said. So, while it's normal to face these challenges, the good news is that we can break through them. We just need to take small, consistent steps and create opportunities to practice, even if it's just for a few minutes a day.
Absolutely. In the next part of the episode, we're going to share some really simple and fun ways you can start speaking English at home, so stay tuned.
All right, so now that we've talked about why it can be hard to speak English at home, let's get into the good stuff, how you can actually start speaking more English at home. We've got a few simple tips to get you started, and trust me, they make a big difference.
Exactly. And the best part? You don't need a lot of extra time or resources. A little effort each day will add up over time, and soon enough, speaking English will feel like second nature. So, let's dive right in. 1. Speak to yourself. A great first step is to speak to yourself in English. Now, I know it might sound a little strange at first, but trust me, it's a great way to get comfortable with thinking and speaking in English.
Totally. And it's easier than you think. You can start by simply describing things around you. For example, if you're holding a book, you can say, "This is a book." Or, if you're cooking, say, "I'm cutting vegetables," or "I'm boiling water." Even small sentences like this help train your brain to think in English.
Exactly, Liam. It may feel a bit awkward at first, but it's such an effective way to practice. The more you talk to yourself, the more natural it becomes. And don't worry if you're alone. No one's listening, so just go for it.
Yes. Speaking to yourself also helps you practice pronunciation, which is so important for improving fluency. The more you say the words aloud, the more natural it feels, and before you know it, you'll be thinking in English without even realizing it. 2. Use technology. Another fantastic way to practice is by using technology. We all spend so much time on our phones, right? Well, why not make that time work for you?
That's right. You can start by changing your phone settings to English. It might feel a little confusing at first, but soon you'll start getting familiar with everyday English words and phrases. Plus, you'll be seeing English in your daily routine, which is a great way to learn naturally.
Exactly. And don't forget about the tons of great English content available online. You can read blogs, articles, or even social media posts in English. The more you read, the more you'll absorb, and that helps build your vocabulary.
And you can also listen to English podcasts or audiobooks while doing other tasks, like cooking or cleaning. You might not catch everything, but even hearing the language while you multitask is super helpful. It's a way to learn without it feeling like extra work.
For sure. And don't underestimate the power of language learning apps. They can be a fun way to practice, and you can use them anywhere. Some apps even have speaking exercises so you can practice pronunciation in real time.
3. Watch English shows and movies. Another awesome tip is to watch your favorite shows and movies in English. This is one of the best ways to get used to the rhythm of the language. It's also fun and engaging, which makes learning feel a lot less like a chore.
I love that idea. And don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. That's totally normal. You'll be surprised how much you can pick up over time just by hearing the language spoken naturally.
Exactly. And here's a great little hack. Turn on subtitles. You can start by watching with subtitles in your native language and then switch to English subtitles as you get more comfortable. This way, you can follow along with what's being said while learning new vocabulary at the same time.
It's all about immersing yourself in the language as much as possible. The more you hear and see English in context, the easier it will be to understand and use it in your own speaking. Practice with family or friends. Now, let's talk about practicing with others. It's a huge step toward improving your English. Even if you don't have a partner who speaks English fluently, you can still practice with family or friends.
Absolutely. Start small. Just try speaking in English when you ask simple questions like, "How was your day?" or "What did you have for lunch?" You can also use English for everyday activities, like ordering food or talking about plans for the weekend.
Exactly. The more you speak, the more confident you'll get. And don't worry if you make mistakes. It's part of the learning process. The important thing is that you're using English in real-life situations.
And as you keep practicing, it becomes easier to incorporate English into your daily conversations. Plus, it's a great way to motivate your family or friends to learn with you. You might even turn it into a fun challenge.
Yes. And remember, the key is consistency. Little by little, your fluency will improve and speaking English will feel more natural every day.
So there you have it, some simple but effective ways to start speaking English more at home. From speaking to yourself to using technology and watching movies in English, these tips will help you get started and you'll see improvements before you know it.
Exactly. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just take small steps and stay consistent. Before long, you'll notice your confidence growing and your speaking skills improving.
Now, let's talk about something that a lot of people worry about when learning English: making mistakes. We all do it, and guess what? It's completely normal. It's part of the process, and if you're not making mistakes, you're probably not practicing enough.
Exactly, Sarah. Making mistakes doesn't mean you're not good at something, it means you're learning. So many people hesitate to speak because they're afraid of getting things wrong. But here's the thing, mistakes are how we grow. The more you speak, the more confident you'll get.
I love that, Liam. Think of it this way. Every mistake is just a step closer to mastering English. It's not something to be afraid of, but something to embrace. Remember, every time you speak, even if you mess up, you're still learning and improving.
Exactly. And the best part? You'll notice that the more you speak, the less afraid you'll be of making mistakes. At first, you might feel a little nervous, but over time, you'll realize that making a mistake isn't the end of the world. It's just a part of the process. Confidence grows through practice.
For sure. And think about it. When you speak in English, you're already doing something amazing. You're using a language that isn't your first one. That's impressive. So don't focus on perfection. Focus on progress, and you'll feel more and more confident every day.
And let's not forget, every time you make a mistake, it's an opportunity to learn and do better next time. So when you say something wrong, correct it and move on. Don't let a small error stop you from practicing. Each mistake is a chance to improve your skills.
Absolutely. And don't forget, confidence is built through consistency. The more you practice speaking, the easier it becomes. So even if you don't feel 100% confident at first, trust that it will come with time. It's like building muscle. You get stronger with each workout. Now, before we wrap up, I've got one final tip for all of you. Make it fun. Learning a language should never feel like a boring task. Find ways to make it enjoyable so that you actually look forward to practicing.
I totally agree. Choose topics that you love. Talk about your hobbies, your favorite shows, or the books you're reading. When you enjoy what you're talking about, it doesn't feel like a lesson. It feels like a conversation. And that's when you'll really start to improve.
Yes, for example, if you love movies, watch your favorite films in English and talk about the characters and plot afterward. Or, if you're into sports, practice discussing the games you watch or even explain the rules to someone else in English. When you're passionate about the topic, it makes speaking in English so much easier.
Exactly, Sarah. And the best part? You'll also have a lot more fun doing it. If you're having fun, you won't even realize you're learning, and that's when the magic happens.
Another tip is to set small, achievable goals. Instead of thinking, I need to speak perfectly, try saying, today I'll learn 5 new words, or I'll practice speaking for 10 minutes today. Little steps like these add up quickly, and they help you stay motivated.
And don't forget, consistency is key. Even if you only practice for a short time each day, it all adds up. Consistency makes a huge difference in your learning progress, and over time, you'll notice a big improvement in your fluency.
That's right, Liam. Even if you only practice for 10 minutes a day, that's still better than doing nothing. So, stick to a routine and you'll see results.
So, to wrap up, here's the secret to success. Make it fun, be consistent, and don't be afraid of making mistakes. Every little bit of practice counts, and before you know it, you'll feel more confident and comfortable speaking English at home.
Exactly. It's all about making progress, not perfection. So don't worry about being perfect. Just enjoy the journey of learning and speaking English.
We hope today's episode has inspired you to start speaking more English at home. Remember, the key is to start small, keep going, and have fun with it. All right, so to everyone listening today, remember, the key to success is to start small, stay consistent, and, most importantly, have fun with your English practice at home. Don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on making progress every day. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll feel, and soon enough, speaking English will be second nature.
Exactly, Liam. It's all about creating a habit. Even if it's just a little bit of English practice each day, it all adds up. And remember, every small step counts. Whether you're speaking to yourself, watching English shows, or chatting with friends and family, you're moving forward in your learning journey.
And don't forget, mistakes are part of the process. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become. Embrace the learning process, enjoy the journey, and keep practicing, because that's how you'll see amazing results over time.
Absolutely. The more consistent you are, the quicker you'll see improvements. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and before you know it, English will feel like a natural part of your life. Stay motivated and have fun with it. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint.
That's right. So, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Speak Easy English. We hope you found these tips helpful and that they'll encourage you to start speaking more English at home. Remember, the key is to just get started and keep going.
We'd love to hear your progress, so feel free to share your experience with us. You can connect with us on our social media or leave us a comment with your thoughts and any questions you may have. We're here to support you.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps us reach more people who are on their English learning journey. We'll see you next time, with even more tips and strategies to help you succeed.
Thanks again for tuning in, and remember, keep practicing and keep having fun. We'll be back next time with more great content to help you improve your English. Until then, take care and happy learning.
See you soon, everyone.